Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Clark from the Center for Weight Loss Success. On this podcast of Doc Weight Loss, I'm going to talk a little bit about avoiding holiday weight gain. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Again, this is Dr. Clark, and today on the podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about avoiding weight gain during the holidays. Obviously, the holidays are right here around the corner, and everyone thinks about this. Well, so everyone kind of thinks about it. We fear it, holiday weight gain. And is it inevitable, or what can we do to avoid this? That's what we're going to talk about. Now, how do we actually make these best choices? Sometimes it feels like, hey, I've got this angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other shoulder, and they're trying to guide me, and hopefully I'm following along with the angel side for most of the time. So let's take a little statistical look at this. So often it's thought that people get routinely 5 to even up to 10 pounds during the holidays. Now, overall, this really isn't true. Now, on average, if you look at all Americans out there, on average, the average American gains about 1.2, somewhere just over a pound during the entire year. Now, that's if you take all Americans. Now, as we get older, we probably may gain a little bit more on average, but there's about 10% of the population that actually gains a good 5 to 10 pounds every year. So, for most people, they don't actually gain that much weight each year. But another important statistic to remember is that about 80% of this weight gain during the entire year occurs during the last 6 weeks of the year, basically that holiday season. So the time between Thanksgiving and New Year's, that's when we gain, 80% of people, or 80% of this weight is gained during that time. So, why is that? Well, some of that, show events, there seems to be goodies everywhere. And so there are some real factors that tend to lead to overeating, especially during the holidays. Certainly, there are plenty of food-focused celebrations. We get invited to all kinds of Christmas parties, holiday parties, and typically they are going to be all food focused because the holidays tends to bring out lots of different goodies, lots of different holiday type food. From obviously Thanksgiving, there are special foods there, and it kind of extends all the way through the Christmas season into New Year's. I don't know if we can probably start talking about the bowl season at the end of the year and New Year's too, because it probably actually doesn't stop at New Year's. Stress goes up during the holidays. Stress goes up. We become resistant to weight loss. It makes it easy to gain weight. We also don't often get as much sleep, whether that be from stress or just we have more things to do. We have things that we need to get done and a lot of time pressure and time crunch. So there's that just overall physical exhaustion, mental exhaustion. That mental exhaustion often leads to emotional eating. Okay, a lot of stress, a lot of emotions during the holidays, whether it be celebrations, whether it be emotional the other way, depression, lots of different things occur during the holidays. And then also just the season. It's darker. We're inside more. It's colder weather. Lots of these things, they all lead to kind of less activity, more eating, more in the house, more around the eating situations. So you can all probably think of your own personal factors. But when you boil it down, there are just many, many social events, many, many extra goodies that are out there that we all tend to enjoy. All right. So lots of reasons why, but what can we do then? How do we avoid this? How do we avoid this holiday weight gain? Basically, I'm going to talk about is kind of what I'll call the 3 pillars of weight management. And those 3 pillars are basically the eating plan, the exercise activity plan, and that broad category of behavior modification. And that's really true for when we talk about any type of weight management plan, we have to address those three. So it's three, and I've split the eating into the at home as well as then party functions. Okay, so eating at home, what do we want to do to kind of avoid these problems then? Well, as we always stress or typically stress, one of the first things is don't skip breakfast. You don't skip breakfast. And so subsequently, you want to start your day off to a good metabolic start. So typically you do want to get a good protein start to your day, and you want to boost your metabolism as quickly as possible once you get up. Having breakfast is one of the best ways to do that. When we go to sleep at night, we're recovering, our metabolism slows. We want to bump that up as quickly as possible once we get up. Okay, so don't skip breakfast. You also want to kind of recruit family and friends to help you. Okay, let them know that, hey, this holiday season, hopefully all holiday seasons, that I'm really going to be working on this. So try to help me out here. Don't bring everything to me. Don't try to keep tempting me, and just help me kind of stay on track, because I know this is a difficult time for everybody. So recruiting family and friends can be helpful there. Now, we can't do that completely, because obviously, things are going to show up in the house. You're going to go out. There are going to be people coming in, and there's lots of socializing, and food goes along with it. So potentially, if you need to keep these things in the house, give yourself a little off-limits area. And off-limits area is like, okay, I don't go into this spot. And that's where, okay, I'm going to keep these things that I shouldn't be eating. I'm going to put them there. And it really is kind of a mental thing, is that they're usually, well, unless you can lock the door and have somebody else, have a key to a certain room that you keep them in. And that's an option, I guess. But for most of us, that's probably not a good option. But just kind of have that mental, I don't go into this area and I'm not going to look at these areas. Sometimes it may be somewhat out of the way. Put it somewhere it's not readily seen, not readily available, that if you were going to kind of break into all that, you'd actually have to work at it. Okay? Now, another thing is just don't purchase the things that tempt you the most. There are lots of goodies out there, but typically each of us has their own little personal bugaboos that tend to, man, I love this. Whether it be eggnog during the season, whether it be candy canes, whether it be whatever it is, we eat to have our tend to, this is the thing I love about the holiday season. And that doesn't mean you should never have that, but it may mean we want to try to keep that reined in and under control. Then another thing to do at home is what I refer to as and this is a very important one, so it's the catch and release program. What I mean by that is like, okay, someone brings you something, obviously they want you to try it, and they may bring you a cake or a platter of cookies or of something that is a lot of trend. It's like, okay, I'm going to try this, and then wrap it and give it away. So what you want to do is wrap it back up, almost like a gift, truly a gift, so that you're not breaking back into it. So yes, try it, be thankful, and wrap that back up and give it away, whether to someone else in your family, the neighbors, someone who could more benefit from that. So wrap it up, give it away, basically immediately. All right, now that's eating at home. So what about eating at parties and functions? Well, one of the most important things you can do, and this is not just the holiday season, but don't go hungry. If we go to a party or some function hungry, it's difficult to not make poor choices. Okay? Hopefully make good choices, but it's difficult. So don't go hungry. So have a healthy something before you go. Then if you're to bring something, bring a healthy choice. Okay? Bring something that is on your plan. Okay? You also want to just increase water. Now, if you've had surgery, you can do that water loading, meaning you really push the water, it'll make you feel full. You can do this without having surgery too. You just have to drink a lot more water. So, but water loading, increasing the water, typically we're not as hungry. It's easier to kind of avoid some things. That doesn't make it easy. Another important thing to use is using small utensils in small plates or bowls. Okay, now this can be very important throughout the year. This is that discussion I've had in the past about propinquity, which is a fun word to say, where propinquity is kind of the environment that we live in and how it affects how much we eat. And one of the major things here is if we use large bowls, large utensils, large plates, we eat a lot more. So just shrinking down the bowls, shrinking down the plates, using small utensils, we eat less. Now, you wouldn't think you'd be fooled by that, but we are, and that's very, very real. You also need to watch the alcohol. That doesn't mean you can never have any, but watch the alcohol for lots of reasons. One is that just the extra calories. But also, as we drink alcohol, we tend to lose inhibitions. And this isn't the dancing on the tables inhibitions that would actually burn calories. This is the inhibitions for eating. And so subsequently, then we tend to eat more than we would have if we hadn't been drinking. When you first get to the party, what I encourage you to do is do a walkabout. Okay, meaning that, okay, look at all the things that are there. And then kind of choose your poison, if you want to call it that. So do that walkabout, see what it is. It's like, hey, what would I like to try the most? Okay, and again, you don't necessarily have to deprive yourself of everything, but you want to be able to just have bits and be satisfied with small amounts then. And then kind of once you've kind of done that walkabout, again, choose your poison carefully, or choose what you want to use carefully, want to eat carefully, then don't stand in the food room. Because a lot of socializing obviously occurs often in the food room, but actually get out of the food room and get somewhere where the food isn't right at hand, where you're looking at it, everyone else is looking at it. So get out of the food room. Keep your hands full. That's another great one. And actually one of my favorite ones is if you're having a beverage of whatever kind, hopefully a low calorie, low alcohol beverage. Water is one of the best things with a little bit of lemon in there. But if you're having a beverage, hold it in your dominant hand. If you hold a beverage in your dominant hand, you're less likely to eat. And it's because most of us don't eat very easily, okay, using our non-dominant hand. Most of us eat with our dominant hand. So if you hold your beverage in your dominant hand, then typically you're not as likely to eat something. And it's these little things that actually can add up and make a tremendous amount of difference in the long run. Just keep these things in mind. That'll help you. All right, so that kind of looks at that first pillar, eating. Second pillar then was exercise. Okay, exercise, people often think they'll exercise themselves to weight loss, but it's a rare person that exercises themselves to weight loss. But exercise is in avoiding weight gain. So exercise, it's a great way to avoid weight gain. So what you want to do, especially during the holidays, is truly schedule your workouts. It's the last thing you want to skip. Is if you know you're going to overindulge a little bit, then schedule your workouts. And not only schedule your workouts, but actually increase intensity of the workouts. One of the biggest misconceptions about exercise anyway is that you have to exercise longer. And that's actually not true. Once you get used to exercise, what you need to do is exercise more intensely. And if you exercise more intensely, you can shorten your workouts. You can get a wonderful workout in just 30 minutes. You just need to bump that intensity up significantly. So increasing intensity, schedule your workouts, and then, don't forget weight training. Resistance training, weight training is one of the best exercise to preserve lean body mass, keeps your metabolism higher. It also, if you're using kind of muscles and weight training, it's a little easier to do to exhaustion if you use a little heavier weights. And then subsequently, you're going to burn off those glycogen stores in the muscle, and subsequently then it'll accept a little bit more carbohydrate. So don't ignore the weight training part of it. And then another good thing is actually schedule some personal training sessions. If you schedule some personal training sessions, it's almost an early Christmas gift to yourself. So if you schedule that, get it in there, go see the personal trainer. The personal trainers will often push you a little bit harder, and they're going to give you new things to do. If you do new things and challenge your body, you're more apt to avoid that weight gain. You're going to keep your metabolism higher there. And then finally, just when we do overindulge a little bit, go out for that brisk walk immediately. Okay, it only takes 5 or 10 minutes, but that brisk walk immediately, get that blood flowing again, and you'll find that you will do better than just plopping yourself into the lazy boy or the sofa in front of the TV in the bowl games. All right, so that addresses then eating as well as exercise. Now the third one, then the third pillar there is behavior. So some of behavior aspects to help avoid weight gain. And one of the biggest one is just planning. Okay, typically, sometimes with the holidays, it's very hectic. But we need to plan because we're going to travel, whether it's just local travel to our neighbors or the church or whatever. But plan your travel, plan your eating then with travel in mind. And so we need to kind of think about how is this actually going to occur. If we're truly traveling out of the area, then it's like, and then you have less control, then all right, I need to bring healthy snacks. I need to plan about, okay, what can I do when I don't have the healthy things for me? So planning is huge. You can also revise recipes. There are a lot of recipes out there that you can revise to more lower carb type recipes. We have lots of, in our website, in our recipe books, we have lots of different ways. And there's lots of different low carb eating, goodies out there, and you can find them there are lots of books out there. So there's lots of ways to get access to this nowadays. And then also just remember why we're celebrating. Okay, focus on the actual socialization of this, friends and family, kind of why are we doing, what's the reason for the season for you? So kind of remember why you're celebrating. So focus on the socializing aspect of this whole thing. Again, keep healthy snacks close at hand. So that usually means pre-preparing. So pre-preparing these, keep them in the refrigerator, you can pull them out, and then again, keep those unhealthy things out of sight. So if you keep them somewhere that's either off limits to you or at least out of sight so that you're not seeing them, it can only be helpful for you. Handling stress, whether it be that deep breathing exercises, warm bath, meditation, quick walk, just kind of have those plans in place of how are you going to handle the stress of the holidays, and then get plenty of rest. When we don't rest, we don't recover, and again, that also then makes it gain weight. And then finally, kind of that behavior when you overindulge. I'll say if you overindulge, probably when was a more accurate term, but if you overindulge, make sure that you get right back on track immediately. Don't wait till, I'll wait till January and then I'll start back again. That is a recipe, no pun intended, for disaster. Okay, so kind of if you overindulge, then okay, get right back on track, get right back to it. Literally every day you do it is only going to be one more day better for you. So in January, you don't want that new year to come around and you're looking down at the scale going, what happened there? And you want to get, okay, maybe it's not during weight holidays, it's really working on weight maintenance. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not working so hard on weight loss, but be happy with weight maintenance. And in January, let's hit it again. So in summary, kind of holiday weight gain really is not inevitable. We need to plan. Very important planning. Socialize, remember the reason, watch the alcohol, and really then bump up your exercise too. And if you fall off track, dust yourself off, get right back on it, and it really is that important. I want to leave you and keep this thought in mind. Again, I've said this over and over again, that weight loss, weight management is not a project. There's no end point here. It's a process. It's a process that we work on continuously and forever. And yes, it really is that important. All right, well, thank you everyone for listening to my ramblings here about holiday weight gain. Hopefully they get some helpful information there. If you have more questions, I would encourage you to go to our corporate website, which is cfwls.com. Or also you can get more access to me and important questions, important topics by going to our Losing Weight USA site, which is www.losingweightUSA.com. I'd like to thank you all again for listening. We'll be talking to you in the near future. Remember, it's your life. Make it a healthy one and have a good holidays. Take care.